सो हेलो एवरीवन एंड वेलकम टू वाइज आईएएस। सोसाइटी के आज के टॉपिक में हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं द रूल ऑफ वुमेन। द रूल ऑफ वुमेन इन इंडियन सोसाइटी। एज द नेम सजेस्ट, एक औरत का, एक स्त्री का हमारी इंडियन सोसाइटी में बहुत बड़ा रोल है। और स्पेसिफिकली अगर बात हम कर रहे हैं इंडियन सोसाइटी की, क्योंकि इंडियन सोसाइटी एक ऐसी सोसाइटी है जहां एक स्त्री को देवी की तरह पूजा भी जाता है। और दूसरी तरफ अगर हम देखें कि एवरी टाइम एंड मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम women is subjected to domestic violence, women is subjected to cruelty, and women is subjected to many of the offenses। दिल को तार तार कर देने वाले ऑफेंसेस women के साथ होते हैं। तो यही कारण है हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं रोल ऑफ वुमेन इन कंटेक्स्ट टू इंडियन सोसाइटी। देर इज अ रीजन कि यूपीएससी ने रोल ऑफ वुमेन इन इंडियन सोसाइटी को पार्ट ऑफ सिलेबस बनाया। वाई नॉट द रोल ऑफ मेन इन इंडियन सोसाइटी? अगर हम कंपेयर करें इंडियन सोसाइटी को इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे कुछ फॉरेन सोसाइटीज के साथ, तो बहुत सारे डिफरेंसेस हमारे सामने आएंगे। हमने इंडियन सोसाइटी के कैरेक्टरिस्टिक फीचर्स भी पढ़े थे, जहां हमने देखा था कि इंडियन सोसाइटी इज अ पेट्रियार्कल सोसाइटी। इंडियन सोसाइटी में सरपंच पति का जो है सिस्टम चलता है। तो ये सारी चीजें विमेन के कंटेक्स्ट में द रोल ऑफ विमेन एंड द प्रॉब्लम फेस्ड बाय, I will say, problems faced by women we are going to discuss today in this lecture. In the next lecture, we will be discussing about some more major institutions and organizations that are working for women. So, you can download the Wise IAS app. Our app is available on the Play Store of Android as well as Apple. And while you will be having access to all the content available on the app, we provide the following things to boost your UPSC preparations. Now, coming to topic, what is the status and the role of women? Status refers to a social position. स्टेटस क्या है? स्टेटस एक सोशल पोजीशन है। सोशल पोजीशन यानी कि जब भी हम एक स्त्री की बात करते हैं तो क्या सोशल पोजीशन हमारे दिमाग में आती है? जस्ट इमेजिन अ सिनेरियो कि आप सुबह उठे और आप ऑफिस जाने के लिए घर से निकले। आपने कैब बुक किया एंड कैब आपके घर पे आई। द ड्राइवर इज अ विमेन, द ड्राइवर इज अ लेडी। आप उस कैब में बस स्टैंड तक गए, बस स्टॉप तक गए। द बस ड्राइवर वॉज अ लेडी। द कंडक्टर और द टिकट कलेक्टर इज अ लेडी। फाइन, यू गो टू योर ऑफिस। आप अपने ऑफिस पहुंचे, बस स्टॉप पे उतरे, ऑटो किया, ऑटो ड्राइवर इज अ लेडी। देन आफ्टर ऑटो में आप अपने ऑफिस के मेन गेट तक पहुंचे हैं और द गेट कीपर इज अ लेडी। You enter your office and just call your assistant by ringing a bell। आप घंटे बजाते हैं और आपके पास असिस्टेंट आता है। ही इज अ बॉय। यू आस्क हिम, काइंडली प्लीज ब्रिंग अ कप ऑफ टी। ही इज गोइंग आउटसाइड एंड प्रिपेयरिंग अ कप ऑफ टी एंड ब्रिंगिंग द सेम फॉर यू। One more person who is responsible for the cleanliness of your office is a boy. So, While imagining this situation, while going through this example, आपको कुछ अजीब लग रहा हो, आपको कुछ अलग लग रहा हो। ये क्यों लग रहा है? क्योंकि जब भी हम वुमेन की बात करते हैं, हमारे दिमाग में जो एक सोशल पोजीशन बनती है, वेयर वी सपोज वुमेन टू वर्क, वेयर वी सपोज वुमेन टू बी, ये वैसा नहीं था। जी बिल्कुल। तो इसी तरीके से स्टेटस रेफर्स टू अ सोशल पोजीशन ऑफ वुमेन। स्टेटस इज ऑक्यूपाइड, पर रोल जो है वो प्ले किया जाता है। एक स्टेटस ऑक्यूपाई किया जाता है, पर उसके द्वारा रोल जो है वो प्ले किया जाता है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अ ड्राइवर ड्राइविंग अ बस, दिस इज अ रोल, एंड स्टेटस एंड द रोल आर इंटरलिंक्ड when women perform their roles according to their social expectations. This is a bitter truth. What they are expected to do, they are performing that duty only. And they are sometimes forced to do that duty only. So, why this happens? This is a salient feature of Indian society, and we just expect, we just force women to do some particular kind of things and not the other. Although our constitution talks about gender equality, many institutions are there that talks about gender equality. I will ask you a question: is there a gender equality in India? जेंडर इक्वलिटी तो दूर की बात, यहां किसी भी तरीके की इक्वलिटी एग्जिस्ट करती है, राइट? तो रोल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट जो है, अब हमने देखा सोशल पोजीशन जो है स्टेटस है, और जो रोल प्ले किए जाते हैं वुमेन द्वारा या किसी के भी द्वारा, वो उसके स्टेटस या एक्सपेक्टेशंस के अकॉर्डिंग प्ले किए जाते हैं। अब वुमेन के साथ एक प्रॉब्लम सामने आती है, देयर इज अ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ रूल्स। Why we expect women to be doing some particular kind of jobs, and we don't expect women to be on other kind of jobs? There is a rule conflict. Why the women is only cooking food? In the morning, women is supposed to cook food for the whole family in many of the cases. So there is a role conflict. If she is having a job to just visit early hours in the morning or to report early in the morning, she is having a responsibility on the other side to cook food for the entire family. So this role conflict, we can see the Indian women's Ashtabhujaon wali. I'm just not putting any words जो कि किसी रिलीजन के ऊपर कोई रिमार्क हो, पर अदरवाइज एज शोन इन द पिक्चर, 10 या 12 हाथ वाली स्त्री, our mothers, our sisters, we can see even wife of a person, daughters, to be acting with multiple hands. They manage everything at the same time. Their profession, cleanliness, cooking, nurturing children, and everything. Everything be like. So, the role to be played by women is like the 24 hours in a day are even not sufficient for a woman to do each and every work. Now, as per the World Economic Forum survey, India's Global Gender Gap Index 2020 Ranking is 112th among 153 countries. China is ranking 106th, Sri Lanka is ranking 102nd, Nepal 101, Brazil 92nd, Indonesia 85th, Bangladesh 50th. Even Bangladesh is having 50th rank. So India is the fastest developing country, we can say. In this country, the gender gap index, global gender gap index, India is ranked 112th. 112th. That means there is a big gender gap in India. Now we need to discuss about sex ratio, mortality rate, life expectancy rate. Sex ratio is used to describe the number of females per thousand of males. And as per the census of 2011, sex ratio for India is 940 females per 1000 of males. There is a difference of 60. That is female from a females from a merger of 47% of the total population. The state of Haryana has the lowest sex ratio in India, with 877 females that of 1000 males, while Kerala has the highest of 1084 females per 1000 males. Even I have witnessed sometimes in Kerala. I have been to Kerala a number of times, one of my favorite state. While my visit to Kerala, I have seen women driving taxi, I have seen women driving auto, I have seen women as a bus conductor. I have seen women managing the whole business. So there is a big difference. Sex ratio in India from 1901 अगर 2021 तक का कंपेयर करें तो हमारे पास कुछ सेंसस से डेटा अवेलेबल है 1901 में द सेक्स रेशियो वाज 972 देन इट ड्रॉप डाउन 964 955 950 945 946 941 930 up till year 1971 it dropped down. It was decreasing, and it was only in the year 1981 it increased to 934. Again in 1991 it dropped down, and again it increased in 2001 to 933. And according to 2011 census, it is 943. And hopefully it would be much better now. So there is not any uniform trend. It was decreasing initially till 1971, and then increased, further decreased, then increased, and then increased. After 1991, it is constantly increasing till now. Mortality rate की अगर बात करें, that is the death rate measures the frequency of deaths. This is an annual rate and is calculated for different age groups as the number of deaths for 1000 live births. The age specific death rate data indicates a high rate of female infant mortality, that is 0 से लेके 4 साल तक की जो लड़कियां हैं, जो बच्चियां हैं, there is a high rate of mortality. And material mortality 5 से 24 साल तक, एडल्ट मोर्टेलिटी 15 से 61 साल तक. लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी रेट जो है represent the mean life length of an individual is expected to survive given the prevailing mortality conditions. It has been observed that the chances of longer life expectancy are higher among the women during older years, whereas women in the younger years continue to have relatively higher death rates. And why it has been happening? Why this is so? The major problems in relation to women are seen at the initial years. Once a woman survived for 30 to 32 years, she has to face, I think so, nearly 50% of the problems we are going to discuss. Determination of sex ratio, then women at work after the age of 30 or 32, she is sure and she is on the place where she is expected to, or where she thinks she will be spending whole of her life. She's on that job. Either it could be a household or any other professional job. Once she is placed on that job, it is almost impossible to remove. So the problem is sorted here. The marriage of a woman is all, yes, you can say, mostly in India, it is performed in the age of 23, 24, and up till 30 years. If she survives, there is very less chance of dowry death. Dowry death, I will say, if you refer the Indian Penal Code, dowry death is a death caused to a woman in those circumstances which are not ordinarily happening, and before that death, some evidence has shown that cruelty was happening, or a demand of dowry was being made by the groom side or his near relatives, and the death of women is either by murder or suicide whatsoever. It happens to be within 7 years of marriage. So at the age of 30, after the age of 30, women, if women survives, definitely she is facing many of the problems, but she could have overcome many of them. So the expectancy rate after the age of 30 years is much in women, and mortality rate before that age is more in women. As per the census of 2011, child sex ratio 0 to 6 years has shown a decline from 927 females per 1,000 males in 2008 to 919 females per 1,000 males in 2011. The government has tried to counter through many of the policies to increase the sex ratio. बेटी बचाओ आंदोलन, बेटी पढ़ाओ आंदोलन, सुकन्या समृद्धि योजना एटसेट्रा. अब बात करें अगर विमेंस हेल्थ की, स्टडीज on hospital admission and records shows that males get more medical care as compared to girls. More than half of the women of reproductive age, that is 15 to 49 years, in India are anemic. The prevalence of anemia among women has consistently been high over the last 20 years. 12% of female population of the country suffers from repeated pregnancy. 80% of their productive life is spent in the pregnancy, and lack of nutrition. So, if we talk about the women health in India, or specifically in the state of Bihar, UP, and alike, women's are not machines that could be used to reproduce human beings, and specifically male child. Marriage age and women's health are interlinked. National Family Health Survey 4 found that about 26.8% of the women aged 20 to 24 years were married before adulthood age of 18 साल. तो इस तरीके से अगर 18 साल में ही या उसके पहले ही एक विमेन की शादी कर दी जाएगी, what are the chances of her growth? Growth, I mean to say, in the professional sector. Either it could be entrepreneur or service sector, whatsoever. At the age of 18, even the higher studies are not completed, and women are forced to do the household work only. They are just placed on a status or the expectations of the entire family that you are supposed to do the household work only. That is the unproductive or unpaid work. Literacy. According to periodic labor force survey 2018-19, literacy rate in both rural and urban areas was higher among the males than females. In rural areas, literacy rate was 81.9% among males as compared to 65.7% among females. And in urban areas, literacy rate was 91.9% among males as compared to 82.6% among females. And what is the problem in this literacy rate? Why the literacy rate is differentiated in boys and girls? This is because of the conventional thinking of the Indian families that if we put male to higher studies or education, they will pay out the family. They will work for the family, and ultimately the earnings are coming to the family. And if they put females to higher education, after education the girl would be married, and whatsoever she will be earning will go to another family. That could be one of the reason. And secondly, if girls are going to work, who will do the household work? Because of the conventional thinking, only women is supposed to do the household work. That is why there is a big difference in literacy rate. And in rural areas, the condition is more worse. Only 65.7%. The rate of education in females is very less. Although we can see the rate of teachers in schools, they are women mostly. The upbringing of a child is done by women. Education. Female participation, as per the All India Survey on Higher Education report, shows that women's enrollment in higher education has risen to 48.6% in 2018 from 10% in 1950 to 51. The total enrollment in higher education is of 18.2 million females out of 37.4 million females per 100 male students have also increased significantly in central universities and deemed universities and government aided institutions. However, the share of male students enrolled in engineering and technology is 71.7% as compared to the female enrollment, which is just 28.9%. In 2018, 43.82% of the women were enrolled at the PhD level as appeared 40% in 2013 student notes. So, इस तरीके से women का participation, women का enrollment in higher education as well as in education बढ़ रहा है. Now we are coming to employment of the total female population, only 21.9% are a part of the workforce. According to periodic labor force survey 2018-19, only 19.7% of the rural females and 16.1% of the urban females were in the labor force, Worker population ratio is 19.0% for the rural females and 14.5% for the urban females. In rural areas during 2018, only 71.1% of the female workers were engaged in the agriculture sector, 6% in construction activities, and 9% in manufacturing sectors. Among female workers in urban other services sector other than trade, hotel and restaurant and transport, storage, and communication shared the highest population of workers, that is 45.6%, followed by manufacturing 24.5% and trade, hotel, and restaurant 13.8%. So this information is basically a purely factual part from your syllabus. This information was in relation to the current. Now, talking about the political status of women, with only around 9% of the women in the upper house and around 11% in the lower house of the parliament, India ranks 99th in the world of terms of female representation among MPs. In the matter of women's actual political representation in parliament, India ranks 151 globally among 190 countries in 2019. So basically, the patriarchal system, we have seen patriarchal system. So what happens is if a woman is elected as sarpanch, if a woman is elected as a sarpanch of any village, so the household work is again done by women. The husband of that woman is supposed to be the sarpanch. He is doing all the activities on the part of uh, if the husband of that woman is doing all the activities on behalf of that sarpanch. He is acting as a sarpanch. Although the woman was elected sarpanch, but the husband of that woman or the son of that woman is performing all the duties in her name. So, what is the fun if a woman is selected and posted as a sarpanch? The real sarpanch and the real power is vested in the husband. So, this is the system which defines the political status of women in India. Although there is a reservation in the seats of parliament, or you can say the grassroots level, but is this participation or the reservation effective? Can you see now, 73rd and 74th Amendment to the Constitution have ensured the participation of women in the Panchayati Raj institutions with a reservation of one third for the women. Today, more than 30 million women are actually participating in the political decision making process of the grassroots in 2019. Women constitute around 44% of the total grassroots elected representatives, and 43% of the elected heads of the villages in India are women. This situation is improving day by day, but the conventions are not basically getting improved. The institution of family and marriage. Now we are discussing these two topics: religion and women, and the institution of family and marriage. So basically, the institution of family and marriage, the family and marriage after marriage, the then family of women plays very important role in the upliftment of the women and the cruelty and etc. All those atrocities which women is subjected to. The role of women in a family is the same which the family intends to do. And if we correlate women with the religion and the role of women through religion, whether you can say in Hindu or in Muslims or in any other religion or any other major religion, no personal law provides for the alimony of women, the amount of alimony or whatsoever by name you can call it. So this is the problem here. Firstly, a woman is supposed to do household works She's not allowed to do any of the professional work or to earn money or to go out and work. Then after what is happening is if the settlement is not there in husband and wife, the husband throws away her wife, and at that time she is unable to perform any of the duty. When she is having kids with her, she has to take care of those kids, and she is thrown out from the matrimonial house. What she will do? She needs maintenance for herself and the child also. Although the Code of Criminal Procedure, Section 125, provides for the maintenance, but the judicial process is, I will say, a slow process, and that till now, in many of the cases, it is very slow, and there are many instances when the justice delayed is justice denied. Now we will see the atrocities, what kind of atrocities women are facing. Sexual harassment. Sexual harassment of women is because of the women being a woman, she is harassed. If there would be a male, there would be no harassment, and because she is a female, she is harassed. You can say when she's forced to do the household work, she's forced to do the cooking work or any other kind of job besides her wishes, she is harassed. There are many instances that you can see harassment at workplace or even at home. The next is martial rape. This is the kind of thing which is not an offense under IPC, which is an exempted offense under IPC. The IPC, Indian Penal Code, which is the major penal law of India, it just states down that if a husband commits rape on her wife, it is not in the category of rape. And the question was many times raised before the Supreme Court itself that whether it could be the ground for divorce or not. The IBC clearly says if a woman is not below the age of 18 and rape is committed by the husband of women, rape, here we mean to say, besides her wishes, if sexual intercourse takes place with man and with her husband, the it is we are referring to as rape. Besides the intention or besides the will or wish of a woman, if the husband commits this offense, then it is not categorized as rape under the Indian Penal Code. The next is child rape, that is with a child below the age of 18 years. Many instances we have seen that rape is committed or gang rape, even gang rape is committed with a child below the age of 18 years. Sexual harassment of women at workplace. This is the part two of this point. And then next is domestic violence and dowry deaths. Dowry deaths, I have explained to you that within 7 years of marriage, if women dies or is found dead in any of these circumstances other than natural death, and a proof is shown that a demand of dowry was there or some sort of violence for the dowry was there, it is termed as dowry death. That is between the 7 years of the marriage. And domestic violence is any kind of violence that results out of the marriage. For this, we have many of the laws to stop this. The Prevention of Women from Domestic Violence Act, the Dowry Prohibition Act, that says giving and taking, both giving and taking of dowry is prohibited. Section 498 of IPC, if a woman is subjected to any of the violence for demand of dowry or otherwise by the husband or his near relatives. Then next is cyber crimes. You can say cyber spoofing or cyber stalking are many of the crimes, emailing or through emails, or likewise on WhatsApp, Facebook, Insta. Otherwise, stalking a woman and harassment through messages, emails, pornography, whatsoever, are all done in the heading of cyber crimes, which specially target women's. So these crimes basically are performed. Cyber spoofing, as you can say, where the origin of the message could not be traced. It's very difficult to trace. It is called cyber spoofing, cyber crimes. Otherwise, you can include pornography, sending pornography to a female, and otherwise stalking a female on internet, on social networking sites. Then female foeticide, that is killing of a girl child in the womb of mother. So many times we have seen the conventional thinking of the Indian society that they need a male child. Why they need a male child? They think that the male child would be हमारे घर का चिराग, and women would not be. What happens is the parents की संपत्ति जो उनके मरने के बाद दावेदार होगा वो एक लड़का होगा. Although the Hindu Succession Act was amended and women was made equal partner in the property of mother and father of that women. But because of the traditional thinking, it is like कि women की तो लड़की की तो शादी हो जाएगी और लड़का हमारे पास रहेगा और लड़का ही हमारी देख रेख करेगा, चाहे लड़का उनको निकाल के अनाथ या वृद्धाश्रम में छोड़ाए. Then the next was, just wait a second. Then we just have a case for just a few months ago in Delhi. We just had a case in Delhi when we can see एक दिल को झंझोर के रख देने वाला या तार तार कर देने वाला. Basically, the case is in relation to the live in relationship of live in relationship, and it also have an angle of love jihad. We are not talking about any communal things here, so we will keep ourselves confined to live in relationship part here. So what happened is two persons, a male and a female, met on a social dating app. They met on a social dating app, and they had a meeting. Then they started living in Delhi, in live-in relationship. The girl was convincing the boy that we are living in relationship from this much of time and we should marry. The boy refused, and they were having quarrels, the very frequent quarrels, time and again. So what happened is when they were having a quarrel, the boy just killed, गला घोटकर उस लड़की की हत्या कर दी गई. गला घोटकर उस लड़की की हत्या कर दी गई. एंड दी इन इन्वेस्टिगेशन इट वाज फाउंड दैट बॉय वाज दैट बॉय was a chef trainee chef, and he knows how to chop things. उस लड़के ने क्या किया, उस लड़की के शरीर के बहुत सारे टुकड़े कर दिए, बाजार से एक रेफ्रिजरेटर खरीदा और उन टुकड़ों को उस रेफ्रिजरेटर के अंदर रख दिया. अब ताकि उस बॉडी के पार्ट्स में से स्मेल ना आए. एंड इन द इन्वेस्टिगेशन ही जस्ट एडमिटेड दैट ही हैज कमिटेड दिस क्राइम. और उसने पूरा सिनेरियो डिस्कस करा जिसमें उसने बताया कि इंस्पिरेशन ही गॉट फ्रॉम द ओटीटी प्लेटफॉर्म, द ओटीटी प्लेटफॉर्म अबाउट द कमीशन ऑफ ऑफेंस इन सच अ काइंड, इन सच अ मैनर. तो इस तरीके से उसने एक मूवी से या इंस्पिरेशन लेके ये काम किया. अब ये जघन्य अपराधों की कैटेगरी में आता है एंड या नहीं आता, ये तो कोर्ट डिसाइड करेगी. बेसिकली आई एम जस्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट दी रूल ऑफ वुमेन, एंड इसमें अगर हम डिस्कस करेंगे एट्रोसिटीज टू वुमेन एंड व्हाई the role of women is discussed under UPSC syllabus is because of this. There is harassment at each and every level. There are atrocities to women at each and every level. तो क्योंकि वो एक वुमेन थी, इस वजह से उसको कमज़ोर समझा गया, उसका मर्डर करके उसके 32 टुकड़े कर दिए गए और 10-15 दिन तक लगातार उनको डिस्पोज करता रहा. तो बेसिकली many times these things are only seen in relation to women only. They are not seen with men. हाँ, होता होगा लड़कों के साथ या, पर ये लड़कियों के साथ ही क्यों? This is the reason, and this is what we have to answer with some realistic approach, with some factual data. ये टॉपिक एक ऐसा टॉपिक है जिसमें आपको अपना पर्सनल नॉलेज साथ में अप्लाई करना होगा, अपनी इमेजिनेशन साथ में अप्लाई करनी होगी, so that you can conclude your answer in a very easy way. So this was all for today's lecture. I think so you are enjoying the series. Thank you. Have a nice day.